Hey guys, how's it going? Crypto is my fairly new venture. I jumped in 5 months ago, but here's the thing. I'm getting a little tired of seeing people get wrecked on bad information from so-called experts and many of the top YouTube channels. So, what the hell is this title all about, the Holy Grail? Well, this is not financial advice, it's entertainment. Do your own damn research. Don't take this seriously. Yet. Be skeptical, be pessimistic, call me an idiot, do whatever you want. Bookmark this, save it, thumbnail it, share it, but don't lose this because in 2 months, you're going to come back and say, how the hell did this guy know all of this? Now you're thinking, yeah, right. How the hell could this guy know all of that stuff? It's a long story, actually. I have a culmination of all kinds of experiences. I'm 65 years old. Some of those experiences have included a vast network and a pretty impressive contact list. Some of them I can't get into. Let's just say I had a company with government contracts. I rubbed shoulders with a lot of people that you probably know their names, senators, celebrities, and top CEOs from all around the world. Go ahead and hit that like and notifications bell. You'd be glad you did. And share this too, so you can be thinking, all right, good, I can't wait to come back in a few weeks and call this guy an idiot. That's fine, I'll take that on the chin if I'm wrong, but I'm not. I was CEO of a large feasibility study that involved some governments and that involved some top data scientists. So I learned about numbers, numerology, and statistics and how to analyze and research those numbers through that experience. Also, like I said, I was dealing with a lot of CEOs, pretty big companies, And, this is one thing you're going to notice I have to do, is to keep my voice moist. That's because, all right, I'll digress here just for a second. The sad reality is, although I'm grateful for the experience now, 2 years ago I was going to jump into crypto. I actually jumped in just 90 days ago. The reason is, after 18 months of research and literally to the week getting ready to go 90% in of my portfolio on crypto, I got cancer. It had been misdiagnosed the year previous, so it had grown for a year. And by the time I was able to prove that it was a misdiagnosis, it had grown to stage 4. So if you look at my smile, it's not quite right. On this side, I have no feeling. They had to take out some nerves when they took out the cancer through surgery. It was all through my face and my head, and not a fun experience. In fact, it was hell. Chemo, radiation, that whole thing. I was laid out for a full year, and it took me another year to recuperate. So that's actually 2 years from 2 days from now. So finally jumped into crypto. But so not only did they take a few nerves that affected feeling in this side, but I have just one vocal cord, no salivary glands, and I'm fine now and ready to rock and roll. So, yeah, speaking of rock and roll, this is my home music studio. I do music production. Link for my music channels below if you want to check that out. My travels have taken me far away, and I made a vast amount of contacts. I was in some meetings I was actually surprised that I was allowed to be in. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how this world works. I learned a lot about finances, the Ponzi scheme we're in, and specifically how most world decisions are decided in a single room with a small group of people. If you don't know that, what can I say? Dig your head out of the sand. That's reality. That being said, what I have discovered through some very important contacts, and a lot of this comes out of the crypto VC firms, CEOs, CFOs from around the world, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and a few other places. Most of the crypto is not controlled in the U.S. If you may assume that, that would be a false assumption. Now, most of the money comes out of Wall Street and the U.S. whales. However, the controlling interests are overseas. In fact, Hong Kong's the epicenter of most crypto decisions. It doesn't mean the money's there, but the decision makers primarily are there. Take China, for example. I mean, they dominated crypto in its infancy. And don't believe for a second that China is out of the crypto world. They are not. They're still hot and heavy in the crypto. In fact, the Chinese people, many of them are still trading crypto. How is that possible? Well, look, what I know about the Chinese people, and I know them very well. I've been there many times. My family's in China from my in-law side. If they want to trade crypto, they just jump on VPN and do it just like we do. And I'm in the U.S. So long story short is I have those connections. I also have this uncanny gift, or sometimes I think it's a curse. The dots just kind of would connect for me, and it's something I was very good at. I've come up with a forecasting system. It's just a metric, and the weird thing is I was able to sort of sift this through my contact network, and they're not the type that will say yes or no, but there's certain signals they'll give to indicate that I'm on the right path. So what is it? What is this Holy Grail? This could not be simpler. Here it is. Keep in mind now, I've only been in the space for 90 days. I've had this metric for a couple months now, but I didn't start timestamping it on my Twitter until only a month ago, so that's why you don't see the previous 2 months. Not only did I get the monthly direction correct when the top YouTubers were getting it wrong, they all said this was going to pop out, remember, in August. Well, I was telling everybody, and you can verify this on my Twitter channel, which is effing good crypto. You'll see on if you research my tweets that I was screaming to everybody, no, you're going to get wrecked if you think this is going parabolic or even jumping substantially past 50 in August. Now, they were correct that we were breaking out, but they'd have you believe that we were going to moonshot. I knew absolutely that was not the case, and I've known all along that the, let's say, powers to be is what a lot of YouTubers call it. I call them OGs, not the typical OG, but for oligarchs, because it is a small group of oligarchs that are controlling the financial world, and crypto is no exception. So what they're doing is they're holding this at 51 for the time being. That's going to go sideways for a while. So they were originally, if you look to July, they were looking for 20 actually. Now the good news is they didn't quite get that, and they're not always going to get their exact price targets, but they are going to be able to control overall direction. There's just nothing we can do about that. With weak hands coming in continually, and then, of course, panic selling in. It's just ridiculously easy for them to manipulate the market. And sadly, I see that trend continuing for the next few years because there's always going to be a fresh supply of new money, and liquidity is going to dry up over the years as people correctly hodl, and that's going to be a problem down the line. But the good news is, for now, the price and targets they're looking for, they cannot get. Why is that? Well, because we do have some pushback. We are gaining momentum, and that's increasing. So even though they'll control the overall month-to-month direction, they're having less and less control over the price, and I think that's fantastic. Because that means sometime in the next, I would project 24 to 48 months, we're actually going to reach that critical mass line of demarcation and take control. And I couldn't be more thrilled because I have a very deep philosophy as to why this crypto technology has come about, and not to get too much into pseudoscience and the ethereal, but I actually think this is ushering humanity's new paradigm. That's how strongly I feel about it, which is why I always hodl 50%. That's just a matter of principle. I'm not knocking anybody that day trades or shorts, or I even swing trade. And I swing trade, by the way, exactly to this chart. They were looking for 20. They didn't get it. They settled on 30, and then they were okay pushing this thing up, holding it at 51. They've got new old cronies that want to come in, institution and hedge funds and things like that, and of course the massive whales. And when I say whales, I'm not talking the whales that most of these channels are talking. I'm talking the mega whale. They're all in this together, and they're going to hold the price successfully where they want it this year, probably next year as well. Then things will start changing. So that's what we're up against. They'll have their final entry this week for all their friends and cronies, and then we'll finally see the pretty massive pop. If you look at some of the new channels that brilliantly do on-chain, this young kid, Will, I think it's Will Clemente, because this guy is spot on with on-chain metrics. He doesn't quite understand how the oligarch works, and that's understandable. But the on-chain is very powerful. 4-year cycles are going to disappear. We truly are going to be entering a super cycle. So let's get back to the chart. The point I was making with on-chain, that's spot on, that's correct. And all of this pent-up demand is going to explode in October, probably the third week. And we go up to the 70s. It may even touch 80. Then we're looking for more of a natural crash. The oligarch will control it down for another entry. If they have to, but personally I don't think they have to. I think this would be a natural market cycle correction because we're going to pop up there pretty quick. It's going to be a blow off top. We'll come back down to the 50s, maybe even touch 50. And then watch out. It's going to be a moonshot, the one we've all been looking for, end of year. So these guys that are telling you, well, they've already been wrong. I've got a guy and we're going up August, September. Parabolic, well, they're already wrong. So don't listen to that garbage. No, that's not the way it's going to happen. And a lot of these guys are telling you that it's all over in the fall. Just the opposite. End of the fall, starting winter, at the end of the year, really. The last 3 weeks of the year, that's going to be our moonshot. And if you look at the chart, we're going up to 100K. My prediction is 115 to 120, that range, last day of the year. And things will be different this year because one thing you need to factor in is 1099s. That's one reason things will be different because of the new crypto regulations that will take effect. And they'll be retroactive to this year, and smart money, smart traders know that. So taxes play into this. People aren't going to sell profits the last week of the year. Just doesn't make sense for 1099s. But you can expect a quick correction the first of the year for the very same reason. And then you're going to start to see something more similar to stock market trends. You're going to see more normalization, more diminished returns. One thing I should mention is specific to September is even though we're going to be mostly sideways, a little bit down, you're going to start to see some of the alts finally decouple, and that's a fantastic thing. We've been waiting for this for how long? Well, me, just 90 days, but I know you guys have been waiting for, 10 years, or I guess a lot of these top alts have only been around 3 to 7 years. So you've been waiting for this, and I think it's coming, and you're going to start to see it soon, very soon, and I think the top 10 alts will be fully decoupled a year from now from Bitcoin. In fact, I expect fully to see Bitcoin flipped by Ethereum, possibly Cardano by this time next year. We'll see, but that's my prediction. So back to the alts, just because Bitcoin's stalling out and we're going to crab sideways for a while, we could see a pretty nice alt season here for 3 to 6 week, a very quick 3 to 6 week season for the alts before Bitcoin takes over. And then you know how this works. When Bitcoin's going up, the alts go sideways and vice versa. So that's the chart. Take it or leave it. It sounds ridiculous, but check out my Twitter. Like I said, that's and you'll see that I've been calling these correctly. In fact, lately I've been calling the dailies, and in fact I've been doing that for over 100 days now. But I think the I've been timestamping and documenting that for a couple weeks now. I'm 90% on that, 100% on monthly trends. Keep in mind, though, to be fully transparent, I've only been in this for 90 days. So again, don't trade based on my story. Don't trade based on this chart. It could all be BS, right? Maybe I'm some lunatic making it all up. Do your own research. Definitely don't leverage trade. And so I'm out for now. I care about you guys and your well-being and your livelihood. A lot of guys are coming into this new. They're putting more money than they should into the crypto space. And I'd like to say I hope this helps, but it's just a chart from some crazy guy right now, right? So take that with a grain of salt, and we'll see you with the next video or in 2 months. Peace out.